The Conspiracy by Ginzberg. Once the following conversation took place between Ahasuerus and Esther. The king asked Esther, "Whose daughter art thou?" Esther, "And whose son art thou?" Ahasuerus, "I am a king and the son of a king." Esther, "And I am a queen, the daughter of kings, a descendant of the royal family of Saul. If thou art indeed a real prince, how couldst thou put Vashti to death?" Ahasuerus, "It was not to gratify my own wish, but at the advice of the great princes of Persia and Media." Esther, "Thy predecessors took no advice from ordinary intelligences, they were guided by prophetical counsel. Arioch brought Daniel to Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and Belshazzar too summoned Daniel before him." Ahasuerus, "Is there aught left of those toothsome morsels? Are there still prophets abroad?" Esther, "Seek and thou wilt find." 87. The result was that Mordecai was given the position at court once occupied by the chamberlains Bigthan and Teresh. Indignant that a place once filled by senators should be given to a barbarian, the ousted officials resolved to be revenged upon the king and take his life. Their purpose was to administer poison, which seemed easy of accomplishment, as they were the royal butlers, and could find many occasions to drop poison into a cup of water before handing it to the king. The plan successfully carried out would have satisfied their vengeful feelings, not only as to the king, but as to Mordecai as well. It would have made it appear that the death of Ahasuerus was attributable to the circumstance that he had entrusted his person to the care of the Jew, as his life had been secure under Bigthan and Teresh. They discussed their plans in the presence of Mordecai, acting upon the unwarranted assumption that he would not understand the language they spoke, the Tarsian, their native tongue. They were ignorant of the fact that Mordecai was a member of the Sanhedrin, and as such knew all the 70 languages of the world. Thus their own tongue betrayed them to ruin. However, Mordecai had no need to make use of his great knowledge of languages. He obtained his information about the plot of the two chamberlains through prophetical channels. Accordingly, he appeared one night in the palace. By a miracle the guards at the gates had not seen him, and he could enter unrestrained. Thus he overheard the conversation between the two conspirators. Mordecai had more than a single reason for preventing the death of Ahasuerus. In the first place, he desired to secure the king's friendship for the Jews, and more especially his permission for the rebuilding of the temple. Then he feared, if the king were murdered immediately after his rise to a high place in the state, the heathen would assign as the cause of the disaster his connection with the Jews, his marriage with Esther, and the appointment of Mordecai to office. Esther's confidence in Mordecai's piety was so great that she unhesitatingly gave credence to the message she received from him concerning the mischievous plot hatched against the king. She believed that God would execute the wishes of Mordecai. Albeit Bigthan and Teresh had no plans of the sort attributed to them by her uncle, they would conceive then now in order to make Mordecai's words true. That Esther's confidence was justified appeared at once. The conspirators got wind of their betrayal to the king, and in good time they removed the poison they had already placed in Ahasuerus's cup. But that the lie might not be given to Mordecai, God caused poison to appear where none had been, and the conspirators were convicted of their crime. 88. The king had the water analyzed which he was given to drink, and it was made manifest that it contained poison. 89. Other evidence besides existed against the two plotters. It was established that both had at the same time busied themselves about the person of the king, though the regulations of the palace assigned definite hours of service to the one different from those assigned to the other. This made it clear that they intended to perpetrate a dark deed in common. 90. The two conspirators sought to escape the legitimate punishment for their dastardly deed by ending their own life, but their intention was frustrated, and they were nailed to the cross. 91.